dragged beneath. Mark and Emma had always loved the ocean. Ever since they were kids, they spent summers swimming, diving, and exploring the deep blue waters. So, when they planned a weekend getaway to a remote beach, they couldn't wait to swim in the untouched sea. The sky was a soft shade of orange as the sun began its descent. The waves lapped gently at the shore, inviting them in. The water was warmer than expected, almost too warm. It felt thick, as if something unseen was shifting beneath the surface. Mark dived first, slicing through the water effortlessly. Emma followed, laughing as she splashed behind him. They swam further out, where the water turned from bright turquoise to an endless black abyss. That's when Mark felt it. A soft, feathery touch against his ankle. He stopped kicking, treading water as he looked down. Nothing. "You okay?" Emma called. "Yeah, thought I felt something." She smirked. "Maybe it's a fish checking you out." Mark chuckled nervously and kept swimming, but the feeling lingered. A deep, gnawing sense of unease. He felt watched. The ocean around them was too quiet. Emma dove underwater, disappearing beneath the surface. Mark followed, the cool darkness swallowing him. Below, the seafloor was a shadowy blur, swaying with the current. Emma hovered near him, her long hair floating around her like seaweed. Then she saw it. Her eyes widened. She kicked backward violently, breaking the surface with a gasp. Mark surfaced beside her. "What? What did you see?" She was shaking. "Something big." Mark turned to look, but the water was empty. Just an endless black void. He swallowed hard. A strong current suddenly tugged at them. It wasn't the usual rhythm of the sea. It was forceful, deliberate. It was pulling them down. Emma shrieked as something cold and slimy wrapped around her ankle. She kicked frantically, but it wouldn't let go. Mark reached for her, his fingers barely brushing hers before she was yanked beneath the surface. "Emma!" Mark dove without hesitation. The water below was no longer empty. It writhed with movement, black shapes slithering through the depths. They weren't fish. They weren't sharks. They were something else. A grotesque, gaping mouth loomed in the darkness, stretching wide enough to swallow them whole. Its skin was the color of rotting flesh, pulsing with sickly bioluminescent veins. Emma thrashed, bubbles exploding from her mouth as she screamed. Mark grabbed her wrist and kicked upward with everything he had. His lungs burned, the pressure crushing his skull. The thing below them let out a deep, guttural sound that vibrated through the water. Then the grip on Emma's leg loosened. They broke the surface, gasping and coughing. The shore was far away, but they swam like their lives depended on it. Because they did. When they finally reached the sand, they collapsed, heaving, shivering. Emma's leg was bleeding. Mark turned back to the ocean, expecting to see something. Anything. But the water was calm again, the waves rolling lazily to shore. The nightmare was gone. Or so they thought. As they sat there, shaking, Mark noticed something horrifying. The water around them was still warm, and it was getting warmer. The black tide was rising again, and it wanted them back.